What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? These are going to be shorter and simpler templates. We're going to call them KISS, or Keep It Simple Sublimator. And these templates will be a lot smaller in file size and complications. So, they won't be as elaborate, but they'll still have high graphic impact. So Keep It Simple Sublimator is going to be for those who are looking for a high impact design, short design change time, and also just not as many layers. However, that's also going to say that these are not going to be as heavy, in the layer department. And I will also offer these at discounted rates because it probably won't have a lot of the extra elements, but they're still going to be great high impact graphics. Okay, guys? So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this thing. This is one of our first Keep It Simple Sublimator templates, KISS templates. Okay. And then the other thing is, instead of having all these different layers, each KISS template, each group that I'm showing you right now, is going to be a separate template. However, you will be able to recreate this from this video that you're watching right now. So whichever template you decide to buy, I'm showing you how to basically turn it into the next template that I'm showing you. So what I'm going to do, start with the Sweet 16, and we'll break down these layers as we change it to something else. So I have Sweet 16, I have Savage 21, so I'm thinking of maybe Dirty 30. And I want you in the comments to give me an idea for the color scheme for Dirty 30, and also what other birthday milestones you have. Kids' birthdays, of course, any number for a kid's birthday is really good. But show me in the comments what you would want to see me offer these as KISS templates. Okay, so I'm looking and I'm checking out for y'all. I'll go ahead and put it on live chat so I can see. And then even if it's not a birthday, if you want to see something else in this airbrush format, put it in the live chat, and I may consider doing a Keep It Simple Sublimator template variation for that. Okay, so if it's a good idea, I'll make it available. I'll keep it simple. That file will be available also as a PNG. So let me know what y'all like to see. If I were to right now, let's say I'm going to take the Savage 21 design. I'm going to right click and duplicate the group because I'm going to make a whole nother Keep It Simple template. Now we can take off the image. I'm going to right click on our subject here, and I'm going to turn this eyeball off. So this is technically its own design even without a photo. Now in this case, what I can do for the accent flares at the top, and this is actually my accent scroll at the top. I want to move it down. So if we didn't have the photo, we could move that. But in this case, I think we're going to keep the photo because it's going to give us a nice little look there. Now, anybody that's watching right now, 40 and fabulous, beautiful, 18, yeah. What do you put for 18? Give me an idea what to put for 18. So I'm using your concepts to basically come up with little short templates. So 18 definitely is a milestone. Now, anyone that messages me right now, even if it is not your 40th, I don't mind. I'm going to put the email here. In the comments. Message the first person, and I won't say the first person, but the first image that I see that I think would fit the template will get this template for free, okay? And that is my thank you to you for your inspiration. Oh, graduation. This could also be a graduation template. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to show you how to keep it simple and make it gorgeous. right, so I'm going to do this one as a dirty 30. Whatever you send me to my email right now, this is only good for this video right now, so don't be trying to send me something after the live. So send me whatever the image is and tell me the theme, whether it's 18, graduation, whatever it is. Send me the photo and type. If it doesn't have the theme typed into the email, then I won't know what the theme is. Okay. Monica, welcome. Welcome. I'm glad to have you. We're doing a Keep It Simple Sublimator template right now. And it looks a little complicated, but this is actually a simpler template. All the hard work has been done for you, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open my email so I can be ready for y'all, because I know how y'all do. When you're ready, you're ready. Let's go ahead and change this one to Dirty 30. Okay, so first thing is we'll take the word savage, right click. I'm going to find the text that says savage there, double click, and I'm going to turn this into the word dirty, D-I-R-T-Y. Now you notice that if I don't use caps, it doesn't have the drips, and I believe when I use the caps, do I have my caps lock on? We'll see in just a moment. This font only has caps. Okay, yeah, I have my caps lock on. So let's turn it off. D-I-R-T-Y. I'm going to click out. And I have it all lowercase right now, so I can go over to my character. And I can make it be all caps or not all caps. So let's say we're going to put this one as dirty, and I'm looking to see if it snaps. Should be snapping right to the center. There we go, right there. Dirty, and then 30, each letter is separate. So I'm going to take the 2, double click on it, or double click on the T, and put my 3. And let me turn my mouse helper on for you guys while I'm thinking about it. Mouse tracker activated. Right, and then we'll go ahead and change the number 1. So right click, I found my 1, double click, and I'm going to change it to a 0. Now you may have to move this around, and that's what I'm saying. So your Keep It Simple Sublimator is going to be ready to go however it displays. And if you need anything extra, you can actually pay to have a Keep It Simple Sublimator template edited to your needs, and then you will have a personalized version of the document or the file that you can use for your purposes. So we have Dirty 30, and let's take the text down here. I'm going to double click here to change the text. Let's say we're going to put established. Well, I don't know if you want to put what year you're established when you're turning 30, but hell, if you're wearing a dirty 30 shirt, I'm sure people can do the math. So speaking of doing the math, wow, 30-year-olds were born in 1990? I don't know if I want to, that makes me feel a little old. All right. So yeah, let's do this as a variation, okay? So dirty 30, there we go. We can change out the image here. In order to change the image, I'm going to go to the previous image. I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to pull in an image. Oh, I got a 40 and Fabulous. Yes. Okay, so we're definitely doing 40 and Fabulous. I got you, love. Chrissy, I got you, boo. We're going to definitely hook that one up. So right now I'm doing, you know what? Because you look like you can pull off 30, I'm going to go ahead and use your picture for this one, and then I'm going to do the 40 and Fabulous one as well. You are gorgeous, my love. All right, so, or whoever the subject is for this 40 and Fabulous is gorgeous. So let me go ahead and download this image. I'm going to show you real quick how you can use Remove PG. Downloading here. And we're going to do this, keep it simple, so we're going to use single images. I'm working on being simpler for those of you who are just getting into sublimation. And really Photoshop. Even if you're die-hard sublimation fan, or you have experience in this for 20 years, you might not be a Photoshop vet. So here we go. I'm showing you how you don't have to be a Photoshop vet to pull off this design. So we're going to go ahead and go to Remove BG. I'm going to log in because if I have a higher resolution image, then I'll make sure that I supply that to you with this template. I'm going to drag my image from my folder and drop it right here on the screen. And yes, did an excellent job cutting that out. And I'm going to do a little trick to the hair here just so it keep that texture on top. And yes, I will download this image, large scale. I love this picture. So we'll go ahead and download this one, and I'm going to show you, you didn't have to do any real work there. We'll drag it in to our Photoshop layer. And remember, we turned Meg off. So we're going to see how it's a plus sign here. We're just going to drop it right there. Drop it like it's hot. Let's resize this image. We want it to be smaller. And look at that already. Oh no, hot girl Meg ain't got nothing on our fabulous 40. Now what we're going to do, because y'all know how I feel about these hard lines on the edges of the photos, I'm going to go into the photo. It's a PNG, so when I double click it, it is a smart object. I'm going to go ahead and get my paintbrush ready. Give myself a layer mask, because that layer mask, I'm going to paint on top of it, and that way I preserve my pixels. Black is going to conceal and white will reveal. If you're unfamiliar with that process, I have a whole quick tips video on how to do this, how to fade off your images, how to cut out. Look up quick tips on the channel. All right, so I'm just going to brush here. I have my black selected because black is going to conceal. You see how I'm brushing here? And I'm just fading off these edges. All right, I think I'm good. I'm gonna close out of here and I'm gonna say, yes, I wanna save these changes. Once I save these changes, it updates to here. And honestly, I'm not really liking this. It makes it kind of look like she doesn't have shoulders. So if you weren't me, you would use this picture just like it is. But if you're me and you're gonna obsess over it, go ahead and open that up. I'm gonna do a layer, image, canvas size. I'm going to increase the canvas size so I get a little more width here. So I'm going to change that to let's change it to 18. And then that way, all I'm going to do is kind of just paint on some shoulders here. Use my pen tool. And good thing she's wearing white because this will be a little bit easier to do. I'm not being too exact here because I'm literally making up somebody's shoulders, but I just want a little something that makes it more believable that something's there. And maybe I should not have committed my changes because I could have had at least the edge of that image there. But nonetheless, I'm going to create a selection here. And then I'm going to do a new layer. Now I'm going to paint. With my paint bucket, I'm going to grab one of these whites. So I'm holding down white while I have my paint bucket tool, and look at that. It turns into a color picker. And I'm going to choose kind of like this mid-tone white here. Fill that, select, deselect. And I know it's not perfect, but it gives me something to work with. And I'll do a new layer on top of that. Grab my paintbrush. Grab one of these little shadowy colors, a little bit darker. And I'm going to make my brush a little smaller. Just kind of brush over that. Okay. So now, when I select all of this, I'm going to group it. And let's update that and see what we look like now. Oh, because it is not flat anymore. Let's go ahead and merge that group. And when we close out of here, yes, we can save it. And now we have some shoulders on there. Okay. Just a little light work. And for her hair at the top here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that pen tool just so it doesn't look like it got cut off by the top of the photo. I'm going to kind of follow her curl pattern here. to create a little bit of texture. Make it look like it has like a little rise and fall a little bit. I don't have much room to work with, but I guarantee you this will look better than it being completely flat at the top. Now this is not part of the Keep It Simple sublimator, but you know, I always have to give y'all a little extra when you watch these videos. So now I have the selection there. I'm just going to go ahead and rasterize this layer and hit delete. I normally don't delete pixels, but in this case it's already pretty much been deleted. So let's do Control D to deselect, and you see now I have a little bit of bump in her hair up there, not just flat across. But anyways, we're looking good. So if I want to change these colors out, I want you, let's see, who submitted this one? Chrissy. So Chrissy, tell me what color scheme you want to see for 40 and Fabulous. And Chrissy, I'm looking out for you, but while you're working on that, I'm going to go ahead and rename this. I'm going to call this one Dirty 30. And then I'm going to duplicate it so we can really name this 40 and Fabulous. So let's get our move tool here, right click, grab our 3, we'll turn that into a 4. Bam, easy does it. Now we have our 40. Let's double click on the word dirty, and then we'll put I have another font. Make sure I spelled that wrong. I meant right. Let's go to check spelling, edit check spelling. It says spelling check complete, so obviously I did a little something today. But make sure you use that spell check. It will be a lifesaver for you one of these days. So let's say Fabulous. We can keep this one, but I also have another script font. And let's say we'll do this one. I guess that one would be 80. But you can use the script font down here. Control Z. I'm going to Alt click and drag this and double click to change this. So I'm going to spell, see if I can spell Fabulous again. One more time. So we can take off the established now. And all these things you can recreate. So when you Keep It Simple sublimator template, you're just going to have one of these groups and you will be able to change these out. Or if you don't want to change them out and you want to collect them, you will absolutely be able to collect them. So we're going to see which way we like better. And then I'm going to put the ampersand sign. If this font, yes, this font does have an ampersand. Perfect. And let's go ahead and increase the font size here for the ampersand sign. There we go. Made it real big. 40 and Fabulous. So now I'll take off the Fabulous here. We'll take our photo. Bring it down. And now we have a lot more room to play with. So this will give us another variation. Now for this one, I'm going to fade off the white here on the image. So I'm going to add a layer mask. And I'm just going to do the gradient here instead of the brush, because the gradient will give me a real even. Oh. Let me make sure that I have black to transparent selected here, because black's going to conceal and the white will reveal. Oh, it's on the radial here. We need to put it on linear. And there we go. We faded that off just perfect. And now let's go ahead and move our accent pieces here. So within our group for the accent scrolls, we have a scroll at the bottom, and then I have these two scrolls at the top. I'm going to select both of them by holding down Control, and then I'll bring this down. So it looks like it's part of the design. Perfect. And what colors did we decide on? Let me see. Is it black and gold? All right, black and gold it is. Let's do it. So we already have black in the design. We have yellow in the design. So let me show you how to change that yellow out to a gold look. So let's right click on the 4 right now, and we'll double click on this effects, and it's going to read to us what effects we have going on right now. Right now we have a gradient from the yellow to the red. Let's click on that. And I'm going to see if I have a gold ready to go. I don't believe that I do, so let's make one. There we go. So this one is transparent. It's allowing the black of the font to show through down here. And just in case y'all end up using this for something, let me go ahead and just make this. Color stop. Right now the opacity is set to 0. I'm going to set the opacity to 100. That way we keep that gold. Then I can grab one of these colors and repeat it. So it kind of gives me a little extra there. Now here's a hint too. I have some presets already set up. We'll go ahead and go with this. So basically you're making your own gold gradient here, which is what a lot of people need to learn. All right, so that's good for that. That's gold. Now, one thing I should have done is go ahead and save this as a new swatch. So if I need to use this in the future, I can. But because we have this hole set up for this 4, I can right click where the title is for the layer. I can copy the layer style, come to the 0, right click, paste layer style. Boom, it's there, ready to go. Okay, so now we have the gold and the black for the text, and we need to kind of repeat that theme going throughout the rest of the design. So let's go ahead, let's go to our scrolls. Let's see what kind of effects we have going on there. Double click. Let's do, obviously we have a color overlay. Let's go ahead and do it with the black, and then for the drop shadow, there is a yellow drop shadow. We're going to make that gold. Or let's try this. Let's do the color overlay. Let's make the color overlay gold. And then we'll make the drop shadow black. Drop shadow, double click, black. Nah, I think I like it the other way. Yeah. Color overlay black. At least you're getting a run of how to pick your colors. Yeah, that black is making the image really pop. So color overlay is black. The drop shadow, we'll do the gold. And I'm choosing the darker gold because I do want to see it on the white background. And then there is an outer glow. You can barely see it, but it's an outer glow. And the outer glow is going to be the exact same color as the color overlay. Maybe even a little bit darker, but not much different. And our color overlay is black here, so if we choose black, see how it just gives you a little slight glow? Makes it a little more believable as airbrush. You don't have to use that outer glow, but if you have really crisp lines, it doesn't look airbrushed. All right, so I think that looks great. We'll go ahead and go to our outline here. And that is on the entire image. So if I click anywhere here, I can see what I'm touching. And what I want to do is go to the group 1 group. it has an effect on it. And if I turn it off and turn it on, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. There's an effect on the folder. Just double click on that effect and see what we have going on. We have an outer glow here. We're fading from white to yellow to red. So let's switch that up. Instead of the yellow, we'll click on our swatch. And I'm going to grab this golden yellow color. Say OK. And then I'm going to put another step here, and I'm going to choose the darker gold color. Say OK. I'm going to delete this color swatch because I want to see how it does with fading. And of course, our next color is just going to be straight up black. So we click that swatch, choose a black. We'll say OK. And I'm going to delete that red as the last color. Now, if you want more of the gold, all you have to do is move your color stops and it will give you more of whichever color. So that's like glowing right now. That's beautiful. Let's say OK. So we've changed that. And then the only thing left are these flares. And if you click on the flare, you'll see there's an accent flare, there are color flares, and then there are white flares. I'm going to go to the color flares, double click on the color overlay, and I can choose to make them black, or I can choose to make them the gold color. I think I'm going to go with the gold and go with the darker gold. I like that. All right, and these color flares, they are one layer, but let's say you didn't like how this one particular flare was. I can choose my polygon lasso tool and make sure I get all of that, and I can move it. So I'm going to use my move tool and just move it. However, once you put these really close to one another, you can no longer do that. So your safer bet there is to Control X to cut and then Control V to paste it. So if I undo that and I say, okay, I'm going to Control X to cut it out, Control V to paste it. Now my issue is that it's no longer part of this layer, and I will have to basically merge this down. So I'm going to right click, merge down, and now that's a part of the previous one. And as a matter of fact, this one is on opacity at 32%. So I would have to change this one to the opacity of 32% before I merge it down. So right click, merge down, and now it has the same layer effects. So that's done. That's one and done. 40 and fabulous. Now I see a little pink in here. Let me see if I can figure out where and why. It looks like it's coming from around my 40 and fabulous. Oh, I have a drop shadow on here. So my and fabulous, I double click on that effect. And of course we had the black already done, but if I look at my drop shadow, I have a little faint pink there. So if I click here, I can make my drop shadow be that dark gold. And then it kind of looks like it's glowing a little bit. So make sure you change that. I'm zooming out here with Control minus. And we have a final design. Now there's a background on here. You don't see it because of the photo. So I'm going to show you an alternate version where maybe you're not doing a photo shirt. Not everybody wants to do photos on the shirts. So I'm going to show you how we can change this little background glow here. It has a gradient overlay. Right now it's on yellow to pink. And what we're going to do is change it to the gold colors. See how it just automatically used that gradient and everything just fell into the right color scheme. So I'm going to move this to be more in our background here. And of course, if we're not doing a photo, then we would end up moving our elements here. So I'll take the scrolls, the top two, and pull those down. I would take my stars here. Like I said, now that you have these as one group for your color flares, you can take them and move them together. And now we have a design that does not require a photo. And you can even go to this background flare. Control T to transform it. Uh-oh. I'm thinking I'm on my background here. There we go. Control T. I'm getting a little trippage right now from my Photoshop. When I'm doing Control T, is actually transforming my flares that I just moved, and I know I don't have those selected. Alright, so I'm moving that down a little bit, so you can't really tell that it's a circle back there, but you still get the full overall glow. And that's it. All right, so we have a photo version of it. Let's add our photo back and see. And here it still works. It still applies here. You know what? I think what it is I never officially press enter to get out of my free transform from my last one. Something is going on. All right. Let's go to our properties. Looks good. So we have version 1 with a photo, version 2 without a photo, and it's ready to go. You can even rotate these scrolls if you want to. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this one. This one is 40 and fabulous. And then let me see if anybody else gave me a good email here. "18 and quarantined." I love it. Let's do it. 18 and quarantined. Let's do it. So what I'm going to do, I like the colorful style. What colors do you want to see for 18 and quarantine? This one has a lot more colors in it. Let's see. This one is Amita. So Amita, what colors do you want to see? Do you want to do school colors? You want to do colors that might, you know, that he might wear, match his sneakers or whatever? We've been doing sneaker matching lately. So let me know what you want to do for that. And so I am literally using this time to create, these will be individual, these groups will be individual files that you can collect, or you can get one and just play with it and do exactly as I'm doing right now. To take these Keep It Simple Sublimator templates, these KISS templates, and create these variations for yourself. Now there will be no excuses. Y'all get these files and play with them, and I want to see what you come up with. All right, so Amita, we're going to do blue and gold. Gotcha. Now, and you tell me what kind of blue, what kind of gold. Is it royal blue and a metallic gold? Is it like a yellow, blue, red, and white? Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to take the Sweet 16 this time because I'm trying to show you how you take something that exists and you edit it, right? So we have our 40 and fabulous. Dirty 30, I have to work on that one because I need a subject for that one. Right click, let's duplicate the group. So Sweet 16 is now going to be 18 and quarantined. Now, let me make sure quarantine that I'm spelling everything correct, because the chances are I may not. Q-U-A-R-A-N-T-I-N-E-D. All right, your girl is almost on point today. All right, so let's copy the quarantine and let's take the suite. We'll right click on the word suite, double click, and paste. I'm just pasting that so I don't have to type it all over again. Hopefully y'all don't catch me slipping today. Now normally I do Control T. I don't know I think what it is I'm using this recording software, and sometimes with Photoshop, it kind of bums my Photoshop out. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to reopen it. Bam. There we go. Now I get my Control-T function back. Photoshop be tripping. Why y'all watching? You know how things like to show out, and folks like to show out when you have company. So, yeah. All right, so let's change all we have to change is the 6, so we don't have to change the 1. Let's right click on the 6, double click, make it an 8, 18. And then the quarantine has this kind of arch over it right now. So let's take quarantine, and we're going to, well, let's do this. Instead of moving quarantine down right now, I'm going to take the 1 and the 8, and I'm going to shift it up. And then we'll bring the word quarantine down. Y'all let me know if y'all see something spelled funny or looking funky. Control-T to bring this in. I do not like when my glows and my shadows end up very close to the edge because it's a chance for it to be cut off. So give yourself a little playroom here. You're working with a 13 by 19 sheet most times. That's more than oversized. You don't owe anybody more than that. So don't be like me. Like I used to try to print up to the very edge, and I would get so mad at myself if I had a shadow that was at that edge, because once it's pressed on the shirt, it shows that it's cut off. And a lot of times you won't see that in the screen. You'll see that on the final press. All right, so 18, and let's take, let's put his name on there. What's his name? So I can show you how to change his name out. And meanwhile, while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to right click on this tiny, and I'm going to hold down Alt, click and drag. So I created a copy of that, and I'm going to do the ampersand sign. Where is it? See, because I called it an ampersand sign, I can't find it now. There we go. And I'm just doing that so I can add like a little bit of contrast between the and the quarantine. And I think the kids like this with the drip, so I think he'll like that. So the quarantine it has this arch on it right now. If I want to take that off, I'm going to right click and double click the text again, and I'm going to turn this arc up or off. I can make it go to none, so it's going straight across, or you can even change this. So let's say you wanted to make it bulge. You could do that, and then you can change the amount that it makes it bulge. So I might let's do the bulge and do top and bottom. That way it gives it a little dimensional effect. All right. And then the ampersand sign, Control-T, I need to bring that down just a little bit because the word quarantined is really long. So I'm trying to incorporate it. There we go. Without squishing this because I've already squished quarantine quite a lot, as you can see. Quarantine is good and smooshed. But I needed to come over just a little bit so that ampersand is not totally fighting the Q for quarantine. And if I want to stretch something out disproportionately, I'm holding down Shift to do so. There we go. That's looking a little bit better to me. And let's go ahead, shift that over. All right, so I think I have pretty decent placement. And I'm going to copy and paste name, Viandre. Awesome. So I don't know if Viandre is watching or you got him seeing that he's being honored right now, but we're going to make this work. Now, I copy and paste names. I do not play about people's names, and like if I'm doing remembrance items, I don't like to type in dates. I like to go with what somebody sends me so that I can be very confident in my delivery. So I'm just resizing this so that it fits better. And then I'm also rotating it with the Control-T. See how I'm getting close to that edge there? I'm rotating it. because before, the way the font was, it looked better rotated, and now I'm actually straightening it back out. Bam, there we go. So without color changing or anything, this is a layout by itself. So now what we're going to do is do a color change and bring in our photo. So for the photo, let's go to remove BG and let's bring in our photo. I'm going to save image as, I'm going to download it and drag this into my remove BG window. Cut it out, perfect. Do you see how much time this saves you? And even as a person that might be considered somewhat, and I don't say I'm the best or advanced in Photoshop, but pretty much as advanced as you're going to get as a t-shirt designer. This is saving me time. So imagine how much time it's going to save you. So I'm just dragging it straight in, pop that picture right into our artboard. Hey, and I like the fact that he's got his arms folded too. I think that's very relevant. So this one, instead of putting them at the top like the other one, I'm trying to show y'all how to switch it up. You don't have to follow templates exactly. I really want to instill that for you all. So this one we're going to put down here, and I'm going to make sure we fade off the bottom. So let's go ahead and put a layer mask there. Let's grab our gradient here, and you see the gold gradient selected from last time. I want that black to transparent, and I'm going to start from the inside meat of the photo, pull up while I was holding shift, and what it does is it fades that off. Now I still want him behind the words quarantine, so I'm going to drag this image below the word quarantine. That simple, right? Okay, so although these colors are popping and they look real juicy, we're going to go with probably a theme color that he would like better. So we said, I'm glad you did the right thing in choosing that picture. It definitely caught my attention too. The font used for quarantined. Now, when you purchase a template, it'll tell you if you're missing this font, but the font for quarantined is Painters. P-A-I-N-T-E-R-Z. Somebody type that for me. Painters, P-A-I-N-T-E-R-Z is the name of the graffiti font. And then let me tell you the name of the script font. They should both be free fonts for personal use. The top font is, the script is Allagia, and let me spell that just in case I'm mispronouncing it. It is A-L-L-A-G-I-A. Okay. Rona is Painters with a Z, but yep. Oh, y'all got it. Perfect. So Painters is the name of the font that is looks like graffiti, and the name here is in Allagia. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. All right, so let's get into changing these colors up. So let's do, we're going to do red, blue, and white, right? And now it turns into, oh, this could be used as a 4th of July theme. These themes can get heavy and out of hand, but I'm just showing you how you can take the same thing and really go ham. All right, so let's do it. Let's go ahead and click on the 18, or the 1 and the 8 are separate. So we'll double click on the 8, look at our gradient overlay, and I'm just going to arbitrarily choose a color scheme that only has 3 colors, because sometimes it is harder to change a gradient out than to start with a newer slate. So let's do, we have white, we have a red. Let's change this one to blue. And if you don't have a blue to select from, normally you know how I do. I select colors from my image. Let's choose a blue, and I'm going to tell you how to choose a blue. You see that? That is blurple. That's not blue. And here's an idea. This is actually a perfect example. The way that you know something is more purple is when you have it come up against white. Anytime you have a color come up against white, it shows you its true color, because when it fades to white, it gets a little pinkish or purplish or orangish, whatever is heading more towards, it will really identify that for you. So I know I'm way too close to this purple. So I'm going to bring it down and see how now it looks more natural blue. That's one great way to tell if you have a blurple blue or a true blue. Another thing is here, I can go to my cyan. I'm going to put 100% for cyan. And then I'm going to make sure for magenta, I'm like under 75. I don't want to be too close up on magenta because then I know I have more of a purple color. So let's do, the 62 isn't bad, but you'll see that it, like, let's say I put 72. I can get a little more of that royal color. And so I'm going to leave it right there with 100 for the cyan, magenta 72, 0 for yellow and black. And although I'm designing in RGB, it is helpful to know your CMYK and how that builds up to any particular color. All right, so I have that blue in there, and then I'm going to get rid of the yellow. And let's say because blue and red next to one another make purple, I'm going to put the white in the middle, kind of break it up. Now, what kind of blue would you like? Do you want like this kind of blue or more like a navy blue? Just give me an idea there. Oh, and both fonts are on Define. I appreciate you looking that up for me. Y'all are amazing. Okay, so no way. So 4th of July. Okay, then we did this. You know what? This is nothing but God. I'm telling you, Spirit is with us right now. You hear me? Because I was thinking 4th of July. This is it. It also happens to be a 4th of July design. Hey, we're going to make it work. So we have the red and the blue. We're good on that. Now, what I want to do is go ahead and hit new. So I am creating, this is a swatch now. Okay. And this way, this will help me out when I am doing this color scheme in the future. And all of your new documents that you open, when you start building these gradients, and this is a new computer. These are all gradients I built on this new computer. My older computer had even more gradients. Okay, so y'all know I love gradients. So we will copy this layer style, copy the layer style from the 8, click on the 1, right click, paste the layer style to the 1, bam. We're halfway done right now with the color change. I'm going to click on the word quarantined, right click, and paste layer style. Boom, color changed. Now, I will tell you this. See how when I did the copy the layer style, it kind of blown out some of my effects. It made it like look a little too big. And that's because the scale, so the 18 is much bigger than the quarantine. So I can go here to image, nope, layer. I'm going to go to layer style, and then I'm going to scale the effects, and I'm just going to put in 50% because I know that's about 50% of the size. And see how now my effects looks cleaner? It's scaled back down. So that's just a tip. If you ever copy a layer style from one place, paste it somewhere else, and it just looks too big or too small. So if I was to copy the layer style from this one and paste it up here to the big one, it would be too small. So if I was going from this smaller one to this bigger one, I would put my percentage at 200%. So 50% is going to take it down by half. 200% is going to double the effect. That's just a little extra math for y'all. All right, so I can see that I need to change the color of my accents here. So I'm going to go to my accent scroll, double click on the effects, and let's do the color overlay first because that's always going to be more impactful. If I want to choose the red, I'll choose the red as the forward color. And then if I want to keep this red as my red, I can copy. I can copy this hex code right here. So that way, whenever I'm using red in the future, I can paste that red. All right, so now I'm going to go to OK. And the drop shadow, of course, right now is purple. So I'm going to double click and grab one of these blues. Dark blue, lighter blue. I think the darker blue as a shadow works real well. Okay. And then let's do this outer glow for the entire image. So if you click anywhere, you're going to see what you're clicking on. I'm clicking on the 18 right now. I see I have a group 1, and there is where my effects are. Turn it off and on if you're not sure. Double click on those effects. And let's go to our outer glow. And now I can go to my setup that I have here, my gradient that I already have set up. And before I had my white on the inside, and then I had it fade out to my colors. And all I did was move this white color stop from the center and put it towards the inside. So then that way it would kind of float from the white outwards. And then you get a little bit of the mix with the purple there, but that's how airbrush would be anyway. If you were airbrushing from the blue to the red, you would definitely get a little bit of purple in between. But I think it just makes it look a little more realistic. So let's rock with that. And you'll also see that there's this background little glow that's in here. So if I right click here where that green is, I say, oh, where's that green coming from? And I just don't know where it's coming from. Right click on it, and then it'll take you to everything that you're touching. So I'm touching the text. I know it's not the text. I know it's not the one. Oh, it's the background. So now I'm clicking on the background, double click on the color or the gradient, and then I can select my gradient that we just created. See if that makes sense. Oh, I think that's the pink and blue. Here's the one we just created. Is that pink and blue? Yeah, that's pink and blue. Your girl is tripping. There we go. There's a red and blue. Okay, so great. And sometimes you'll see that it makes a difference or it doesn't make a difference. So you're just using your eye to tell how well it's working for you. Now, don't forget these flares. A lot of people forget about these flares and they leave them whatever color it was. So right now my flares are pink. I don't want them pink, so I'm going to right click on where I see my flare and I see the word color flares. I'm going to click on color flares, double click on the color overlay, and instead of pink, now if I do Control V or paste, remember I copied my hex code for the red. There was a reason for that. Or if I didn't remember to copy my hex code, then I could just easily come over here to my image and pick a red from here. Okay, that's it. We're done. Ah, he's also a barber student. So that red, white, and blue, you're gonna, once you get this template, yeah, I could see barber life on here. I don't know. You're gonna be able to do some awesome stuff with this template. So congratulations and thank you for participating. And I cannot wait to see what you do with it. So that's it. That's done. So let's see what it looks like without the photo. We have the photo version, and let me go ahead and just type the word photo here. So whoever opens this template will know that is a photo. Let's turn the photo off, and even without a photo, it still looks great. Okay. Now, one thing I'm going to show you a little tip and trick right now. If we want him to glow a little bit, then let's go ahead and do an outer glow there. And right now it's set on this pink color, but as a matter of fact, we can set it to white and it would look really good. We'll bring the opacity up a little bit. Change that spread and that size. And now it looks like he's glowing right there in the middle of the photo. And if you don't like it, turn the eyeball off of the effects and you have your original image. Right. So Amita, great question. How do I add the sparkles? Now the sparkles, they're called flares in this file. The flares are already there. If you want to create your own flares, I have a brush pack that you can purchase if you have Photoshop. It's really easy. All you do is once you unzip the file, you double click the file, and it will automatically load itself into Photoshop, and you will have all the same brushes that I do. So this template will come with the flares, but if you wanted to add your own flares, there you go. We go down here to the blings, and you have variations here. So let's say I want to select that one. I need to create a new layer, and I always suggest that you put your brushes on new layers. But let's say I have white selected right now. That's what white looks like. I always make my flares black so that I can see them. So if I make it black, yeah, it looks black. But then I do a color overlay. And guess what happens when you do a color overlay? You can make it be whatever color you want. And I'll tell you what, I will keep that in this template as a freebie. It's just a flare. Just a flare. Free flare. And you can activate it, turn it off and on. You can Control T, and then that way you can put it multiple places. So you do Control T. I just resized it. I can put one here. And then I can Alt click and drag. I can put another one there. I can Alt click and drag. Put another one here. Alt click and drag, and another one here. Now this is just going to be something for you to play with. And they all have their own, so I'm just going to call this group Free Flares. Okay. And I'm going to drag this below the image so that my other flares kind of show a little bit better. But you can turn them off, turn them on. And then you can move these flares independently. So just because you asked that question and I put a bonus in the template, I like this. I like y'all being able to rock with me live, and we do some real live alterations to the template. Yeah, I have some great ideas. Yeah, hey, we got it. All right, so like I said, the one that's already on there, I'm just putting the free flares at the very bottom. So no matter what template you purchase, there'll be the free flares on there. Of course, now here's the thing too. Let's say I don't want to change these individual flares, the colors. I can right click right now, or go to my effects for this whole group, do a color overlay, and although they have a red color overlay already on them, I can change my color overlay to whatever's in this graphic, and boom, real quick, I got some new flares. Look at that. And then that cyan really pops off of the pink, so I don't even have to go with the outer glow color. I can do a contrast color. And whoop, there it is. I've been teaching the kids that song. It's probably not a great thing to do, but they've been asking me where I get that from, so I teach them all kind of old stuff. All right, so yeah, so those are your free flares. So let's go back through our designs. We have Sweet 16, 18 and Quarantined, Savage 21, and then my Dirty 30. I can work on my Dirty 30. 40 and Fabulous, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab everything in 40 and Fabulous, and I'm going to shift it up just a little bit so we don't get too close to the bottom of the paper and not too close to the top of the paper here. We're centered. Perfect. Perfection, guys. All right. Yeah, no, thanks, Monica. I'm glad I have somebody on my side that likes the song. You're welcome, Amita. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna check one last time before I close out this template tutorial. Let me pull something up. Let's showcase our last one that we did while I'm searching. See, I have something to look at. Let's see. Oh, y'all are gonna keep me busy tonight. This is gorgeous, Tiffany. I love these photos. Pretty Little Millionaire. Well, this sounds like she's the entrepreneurial spirit. So if that's the case, I'm gonna go ahead and rock with you. Let's do it. Let's see, I have a couple of photos here. These are gorgeous photos. Girl, you might be getting another template out of me, because if I really like these photos and I use them for anything, I have to give you the template for free. That's my deal. You know, that's our kind of soul contract, you know. So I love these photos. So yeah, girl, you might be getting a couple of templates out of me. All right, so one of them be tonight. Let's do it. So now this would be an entrepreneur design. But do you get the theme? I'm asking y'all right now because I really want you to tell me. Do you get that you can take anything that you see and make it your own theme? You don't have to buy it as it is and think that it only works for that theme. We could do this, like I said, we could do a remembrance version of this airbrush template, right? All right, so I'm gonna do this one based on the Sweet 16 because it has a lot of color in it. So I'm excited when I pull this image up. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. Now, you don't always have to cut out the background. So let's do a variation where we don't cut out the background. So I'm gonna duplicate this group so I don't mess up what I already have, right? And go ahead and open that up. And let's see what our photo looks like that we're gonna bring in. I have to decide which one I'm gonna bring in. All of them are so beautiful. I like this one with the graffiti in the back because it's like so fitting. I'm just talking. I could just bring the picture over and show y'all, but there it is. It's really pretty, and I think it goes well with this theme, and we're going to change the colors to these colors in the background. So I'm going to keep the background image. So for this one, let's do this. Let's drag it to, I'm going to drag it underneath the text for right now, and then pull it above what I think it needs to go above. Now, what did we say we were going to put the words for this one? Let me go back to my email. Okay, so we don't need the numbers, right? So now I'm showing you how you can take this template, and guess what? We don't even need the numbers. It's a totally different type of template now. Take off the 16, and we're going to change the word tiny to pretty. Oh, you know what? Let me copy and paste because the way that you spell pretty is very unique. So I want to make sure that I capture that. Pretty. Oh, I'm loving it already. So Control T, and I'm going to transform this and rotate this a little bit. See, sometimes it looks better because of how heavy the first letter is. It looks better when you keep it rotated. So we'll see. So we have pretty little things with a Z at the end. So I'm copying and pasting right now. I want to make sure that I get this right. So instead of sweet, Control V. And if I want to, let me see if I can choose my alternate ligatures and glyphs. I don't know for this font. But if I want certain letters to drip, I think this font is limited because it's free, so only certain combinations of letters drip. It was an E that drips. So it might be that these letters, when I type in little things, like none of those letters drip. That's what it is. So if you were to purchase this font, you might get more of the glyphs. And then that's what I could do. I could come over here to glyphs and choose which one I want to change out. Oh, there is the Z drips. That's the only one that drips. The Z drips. Yeah. But it's cool. We'll rock with it as it is. Control T. I'm going to go ahead and transform that and bring it in so we don't have anything hanging off our page. And then I can see right now that I can bring this down here. I can bring our pretty and hit enter to lock in that size change. Let's do pretty here. Let's bring that down. And then I'm going to take the photo here and drag it above the background. Okay. And then right now what we have going on is the photo is inside of this this group that's glowing. So if I don't want the photo there, I'm going to turn off the background and I'm going to drag the photo below until I see the double lines. Now it's on the original level. And I'm going to take and grab this layer mask, get my paintbrush tool here, and now I just want a regular soft brush, you know, the one that comes with Photoshop. You don't need anything special for that. It's a general brush. You can increase the size, decrease the hardness to 0. Right now I have my size at about 849 pixels, and I have black selected, so black is going to conceal. And if I take away too much, I can use my white to reveal. So no worries, don't get hard on yourself right now. Just play with it. Get some practice in and get your confidence up, okay? That's all you're doing, you're just confidence building. So I'm just fading this background, and I didn't have to pay to remove the background. I didn't have to take my time to remove the background. I'm literally just painting the outer edges of the graphic so that I get rid of some of the background. Don't y'all think y'all can do this? Doesn't that look easy? And you always wonder how you can fade off the backgrounds? This is it. Now let me show you. Here I'm trying to remove a little background, but I'm also fading out her face a little bit, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to come back in. I'm going to reduce the size of my brush. You can either right click and do it manually, or you can hit Control-Alt, right click and drag it from left to right, increases or decreases your brush size. I'm going to drag it to the left to make it smaller, and then I'm going to drag it up or down to make it hard. That's your hard edge, that's your soft edge. I'm going to make it a little bit of a harder edge, and then I'm also going to make it a little bit smaller. So now I'm going to bring white to the forefront because I want to bring that detail back from her face. So I'm just kind of painting right there to bring that back. Then that way the background looks faded out. She looks nice and crisp, popping out there. And let's say in case I happen to do that to the feet also, I can bring that and make sure that her feet, because I think I did fade off the feet a little bit and I didn't intend to. So we're still popping out, and I didn't have to cut out the background. So y'all see that? Pretty little things. And let's go with the color scheme here. Now, quite naturally, I already faded out the background, so my colors are going to be a little faded out. So I'm going to take this image, I'm going to alt click and drag it. When I'm clicking and dragging it, it is giving me a copy of it. And I'm just going to bring it to the front here above the group so I can pick colors from it. And I like that dark winged duck, that purple. I like this, the peach color. I like the seafoam type of teal color, all of that. So we're going to use that as our color inspiration. So let's move the image over to the right where we can still pick the colors. And I'm going to turn off, I'm going to delete that layer mask because this isn't our real image. But I'm using this now as a color palette. Do y'all see those flares? Oh, those are my flares. I was going to say, boy, I thought there were flares in the dark wing photo. I was going to say I thought that was confirmation again. That just me needing to go to sleep, take a nap. All right, so let's click on our little things and let's double click on the effects. Come here to our gradient overlay. Gradient. Right now we have quite a few colors. Let's start with one. Let's get that purple that we like right there. That pastel purple, perfect. And then our next color will be, what do we want to touch next? Let's grab that darker purple, just to see. And then the next color, let's grab one of those teals. Next color, we'll grab the mint color. And you see it's building that color up. Next, let's grab the kind of rose coralish pink. And I think that is it. So I'm going to delete the last one because we don't need it. Do y'all see how it's coming together right now? So I'm going to take the dark purple and I'm going to put it at the end. Just so we have a little bit of grounding there. But this light purple, I really like it, but I'm going to make it a little bit bolder. So I'm manually adjusting this color to give me a little more oomph. And everything else looks good. I'm going to do the same thing to my dusty rose color here. I'm just going to add a little more. There we go. And now when I spread it out, I think it gives me a little more of a pop of color. And it'll stand out against the photo. So perfect. Oh, let me go ahead and save this. I'm saving this gradient now. New gradient. All right, let's say okay. And now we can delete this because it's just an extra photo there. I'm going to delete it. And you see how things are kind of coming together with that color scheme? Always use your inspiration. So let's go ahead. Let's change all the accent colors. Right click. We're going to go to that Vector Smart object and select both of them. Because why not? Go ahead and move them at the same time. I'm just going to bring them down a little bit. Perfect. And then the whole group has an effect on it. So this is going to change the bottom and the top ones. Let's go to the color overlay and let's play with which color we'll use. Let's go with the pink or the teal. I think that teal's gonna, yeah, that teal's gonna steal my heart. Let's get a little bit lighter version of it. I like that. Now what we're gonna do is the outer glow is on pink right now. We'll select it and maybe we'll go with a little bit darker teal. Okay, that looks good to me. And of course the drop shadow is that purple. So let's click on the drop shadow and let's make it, we can go with the purple from the hat. I'm not getting a real clean purple. But it's also, you have to understand that this opacity is taken down. So if you want it to show the full color, you would increase that opacity. Or do I want the pink? I think I want the pink, but I'm going to clean it up a little bit for me personally. Because that dusty rose is just a hot color. You know, even in the fall, it was a hot color. So that dusty rose, I think, would do well. Go with that. And of course, we want to change the color of our glow for this whole group here. So we'll right click, go to group 1. And I'm going to double click on the effects. Let's go to the outer glow. And right now we're going white to pink to purple. Let's see how white to the mint. Oh, already. And you know what? Let's choose our gradient we had already created. That way you can see when you have a gradient palette doesn't mean use all the gradient colors. So what I'm going to do is choose what color I want to really glow. And I'm thinking that I'm going to take the purple out because the purple is really more of the accent in his hat. And then I'm going to have the mint come in from the center, then the teal, and I'm going to put white. Whatever you do, put white right here. White right there. And I'm trying to see, do I want the pink on the inside where the white is? Yeah, I think that's better. All right, so that's my pink there. I'm still missing a little something. Something is glowing here. I think, oh, there's a drop shadow on the pretty, I remember. So if I ignore that kind of purplish pink popping through there, I'll be okay. So that looks good there. And now we need to change the drop shadow for the pretty. It has a purple or pink drop shadow. We'll click that one and give it, what kind of drop shadow do we want to give it? I kind of like the rose color. And I'm trying to select from the graphic so that it pulls in, ties in there really well. All right, and since I kind of neglected my purple a little bit, if I want to, I can go into my my effects here, and I can bring purple down a little bit for our gradient. If I bring it down, it gives me more purple right there. Then that way, that makes me feel a little bit better about including the purple. And maybe I'll do my flares in purple. So I'm going to right click on my color flares, double click on the effects, and let's go to color overlay. Let's grab our little purple. And now you see how we kind of added that purple back. And then you have your free flares. I haven't forgotten about the free flares. Let's go ahead and turn those on. And let's make those purple too, so we can pull that purple back in. Click on the swatch there. Grab your little purple. Let's get the lighter purple. Here we go. We can even grab from the graphic there. And that's a really light purple. Like I said, you can also manually come in here and adjust your colors. And then I'm going to bring the opacity down because I don't want that to be like full-fledged color. Well, all right. We have pretty little things. And I usually keep this in black, but if you wanted to, you could change the color of this just like we change the color of anything else. Go here to your effects, and let's go to the color overlay. Right now it's on black, but let's say you wanted to choose purple. There we have it. And it still gives us that airbrush look. Now this font, when it's bent like this, it's not really touching and connecting where you need it to. So I'm kind of seeing that on this text. You don't always see it. So you can change your font. I'm looking for another script font, preferably one that is free. And I'm not looking at the screen, so if y'all saw something and you got a chance to catch the name of the font, let me know. I like that one. Now, I don't know if Arisha script is free, so let me check for you real quick. I'll copy this font name, and this shows you how to find a font. Type in the name and the word font. My N on my keyboard has been driving me crazy. It either doesn't type at all or it double types. Let's see. This might know this one is not, this is not a free one. This probably came with a font bundle that I purchased. Sorry, I kind of inhaled at the wrong moment right there. So let's choose another font that is free, because when y'all get these templates, I want you to be ready to rock and roll. So this would be an alternative. Atlantica. Oh, I like Atlantica. Let's see if Atlantica is free. Please be free, Atlantica, because I know, you know how we all have expensive taste, and as soon as we find something we like, it just happens to cost more than everything else we're looking at the moment. Atlantica, and let me type in the word font. And looks like a free font from somewhere. And then you have to be careful about where you download these fonts from too. But this looks like a free font. As long as you want to risk downloading that. That's up to you. I'll let that be your thing. So I think I had to maybe squish this or something, so it's looking a little weird. Let me do what I can to make it look good to me. Hold on. What's up, Brooklyn? Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so I think I'm all right with that. And right now we have a curve going on with it, but if you wanted to not arch it or arc it, then you can come up here to the warping the text tool and you can change. You can arch it instead of arc it. And the difference is those edges kind of flare out. You can change the amount that it does arc or arch. I think that works. And then another thing that's going on with it right now, if you right click, choose the letters and double click on the effects, it has a bevel and emboss going on here, and you can change the size of this bevel and emboss. I have it like major so it looks like it's kind of abstracting there, but you can switch that up. You can also bring this, I'm taking the opacity of the multiply down so that that black isn't as harsh. So I'm going to bring it down because we have these pretty little colors. So I want to keep the pastel theme going. All right, and that's just another example. Let me know how you like it. All right, so let me see if anybody else is going to reel me into a free template tonight. Let's see. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut this one as done because I still have 2 other templates that I need to do. And I don't know if I'm going to get to do them tonight because if y'all don't stay up with me, then I might not have the inspiration to keep it going. So this is, let's go through what we did so far. We're going to call this one Pretty, P-R-E-T-T-I, Little Things. And I'm okay typing this out because it's not my title. I mean, it's not in my image. It's just a title I'm giving it. So I have the flares on there. Looks good. Awesome, awesome. Oh, I mean, you're up. Good job. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this one, all of this that I'm working on, because this is not a kiss. The way it is, it has all these different layers to it. So what we're gonna do for kiss is we're gonna offer each one of these groups as its own mini Photoshop file, okay? And when I say mini, it's still powerful, as you can see. So let's turn our flares off. Let's see. So we have Sweet 16, bam. Pretty Little Things, bam. 18 in Quarantine, bam. Savage 21, bam. Dirty 30, still gotta work on that one. And 40 and Fabulous. And now that I'm seeing 40 and Fabulous, I think I'm going to change this glow up a little bit. So let's go to my photo. H-O-T-O, that's the photo. And yeah, the glow is going around everything here. I'm just shifting stuff around. Let me go to that glow. I'm double clicking on it there. And I'm going to play with here. Because I'm seeing a little too much yellow. I want to see more of the gold. And then I can also change the size for the whole group if I wanted to. And let me see, do I even want that to be apparent there? I can make this opacity fade off to 0. I'm just playing a little bit with what I want out here. I think that's what it is. I was making the black glow, and I think the black was kind of, y'all tell me, I might be tripping. I'm going to take the black off and then put it back on, and y'all let me know. So that's black off, and this is black on. And of course, now I have to tell this to be 100%. Yeah, I think it's a black one. It did make it pop a little more. I'm tripping. So I like it like that. All right, so I will make these available. If I can stay up tonight, I will make them available tonight because I know how y'all are once y'all see it. But I also have two other files that I need to do as Keep It Simple Sublimator templates. And I need y'all's help with them. So let me go ahead and save this file. I'll break it down and make these available tomorrow. I may even be able to stay up late and do it, depending on how late we stay up designing tonight. All right, so we have our variations, and I'm happy, y'all. Thank you, thank you. So, y'all put me to work, but it was worth it. Yeah, Rona, you know how I go hard. You know it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and close out of this one. And this Father's Day is a simple template that I'm going to work on next. So I'm going to close this video down though. So y'all will have to jump back on the live for me to do this next template because I have to break these videos up. And once I do these lives and spend all this time with y'all, y'all know I don't edit these videos. I'm not even going to try that hard in life to be a video editor, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, close out, and then you all join me in maybe like 5 minutes. All right, see y'all soon. Thank you. Love you. Bye for 5 minutes.